Yeah, man, that song by War sure will bring them out of the woodwork. That's a hot song. You know, that's got to be the smoothest, the funkiest.
Yeah. Yada, yada, yada.
I ain't finished what I was saying.
Mindset. You say that about every song you talk about.
Well, it was a hot song. Come on, man.
Yeah, okay, bruh. Roll the intro and we'll see.
Man, it's sure enough hard to get some good help these.
I like to be educated, but I'm so frustrated.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Music Mindset channel. Now that we got a peanut gallery quieted down a little bit, hey, we're gonna get into a big story tonight about a band called War from back in the day, man. You probably heard them, or at least you heard this song. We got a lot to talk about, but first I want to tell you, I thank you guys for checking out the channel and the videos. Keep on doing that so we can keep on growing. And don't be afraid to become a member, definitely a subscriber. Okay, we're gonna get right into that story right now. War, with the focus on the song Lowrider. Lowrider. You know what I'm talking about? See you in a minute. Lowrider, a revolutionary idea forged in the streets. War came out of the multicultural stew of Long Beach. The core crew: Howard Scott, Harold Brown, Lonnie Jordan, B.B. Dickerson, Charles Miller, Lee Oscar, and Papa D. Allen. They originally had been playing R&B and blues throughout the 1960s as the creators, and later worked under the name Night Shift while backing singer Deacon Jones. But now this became their final roll call, an integrated lineup that represented the true neighborhood sound. But everything went to a new level in 1969, when the legendary Eric Burdon found them. He was a British blues rock star and lead singer of the group called The Animals. At the time, Burdon was searching for a raw, uncompromising sound to work with, and in them, he found it. But he and his manager, Jerry Goldstein, wanted to give them a name that would better fit them and what they personified, and that was War. Burdon felt their fusion of styles and the mix of black, white, and Latino musicians was perfect. The name, for most, might have been seen as provocation, seeing that it was during the Vietnam era. But Eric Burdon saw it as a declaration of unity in the face of all opposition. Yes, a band named War was inherently political and shocking, but it would also wake people into taking a deep look at what they were letting happen in the world. But then the band would eventually have to explain to many confused fans and radio stations that they were raging wars against wars in the streets and abroad with their music. Their instruments were the weapons. Anyway, War's debut would come in 1970 on Eric Burdon and the band's studio album together. It was called Eric Burdon Declares War. Luckily, many would eventually see it as a defiant declaration of artistic freedom that fused rock, funk, and psychedelia. This thing was known for its mix of styles and launched them globally with the chaotic psychedelic funk track, Spill the Wine. It kind of had a little of that reggae feel to it. That banger rocketed to number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100. Here's a major footnote from 1970. The band played a gig in London at Ronnie Scott's, where an unexpected guest showed up. Yeah, man, Jimi Hendrix joined them on stage for what would be the very last public performance of his life. If you know the story, 2 days later, unfortunately, he would be dead. But War's launch was marked by instant success. But after 2 quick albums with Burdon, there was sudden, dark tragedy on the horizon. A crazy thing happened. Burdon collapsed during the European tour due to an asthma attack, leading him to leave the group in 1971 for good. Man, just that fast. After Burdon's departure, War tried to release a self-titled album, but it absolutely went nowhere. But rather than just collapse and give up, War regrouped. Those boys turned around and released the album All Day Music, featuring the gold-selling single Slippin' in the Darkness. Yep, that one right there, which reflected the darker side of street life. They proved they were the driving force all along. But the true gold era would begin in 1972 with the masterpiece, The World is a Ghetto. This album was a phenomenon, becoming the best-selling album of 1973. This cemented their status as an album band. The single, The Cisco Kid, became an instant Chicano anthem. With its perfect synthesis of Afro-Cuban percussion, jazz, flute, and deep funk, War's music was speaking the universal language of the urban experience. Now, their final major peak came with the 1975 album, Why Can't We Be Friends?
Why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends?
I know you have to know that song. The title track became a genuine national plea for racial harmony. And also, on that album, yes sir, that piece of wax hailed another phenomenon, Lowrider. But as the 1970s ended, the foundation of brotherhood began to crack. The ultimate tragedy struck in 1980. The band's sax and flute player, Charles Miller, the voice on Lowrider, was brutally murdered in Los Angeles during a street robbery. Sadly, the crime has never been solved. That loss was irreplaceable, and the music never quite recovered its original energy. That was just the beginning, because then the true war started over the band's identity in the 1990s. The band was a communal effort, but that openness left them vulnerable in the business world. Manager and producer Jerry Goldstein and keyboardist Lonnie Jordan maintained legal ownership of the trademark WAR, leaving the other core members out in the cold after years of legal battles. Today, in 2025, two separate active bands play the classic songs. War, led by Lonnie Jordan, the last continuous original member, and the Lowrider Band, featuring the rest of the surviving classic-era rhythm section, including Lee Oscar. The music survived, the relationships did not always. Nevertheless, and despite the mess, the music remains foundational. You should also know that the band War was honored with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame on the 5th of June, 2025, and celebrated the band's 55 years of music and the 50th anniversary of their album, Why Can't We Be Friends? But anyway, the song Lowrider was born from a tequila-fueled studio jam and proved that blue-collar creativity and cultural fusion can create timeless music. Yeah, man, that's how it goes. And I'm not going to be remiss by skipping out and leaving out the part about Cheech and Chong in that movie, Up in Smoke. Man, if it wasn't for that movie right there, we probably wouldn't even know the song the way we know it. It's a great song, and it would took off by itself, but that movie sure enough put it up on the map, you know what I'm talking about? Check out that movie and check out the song and have a little fun thing about the smoked up car. That was funny back in the day. So anyway, guys, I hope you appreciate that type of stuff. Subscribe to the channel, become a member. Anything you can help support the channel, and I'll see you guys next time on the Music Mindset channel.